When you hear the folks here,
yeah,
and the pleas from the people, imagine if it's tough for people like us, what's it like for them?
it's hard to imagine. Let's just be honest. And as a nation, we have to be aware of that. And so when I come and speak in a place like this, I have to be aware of it. There are certain principles. And I loved over the last couple of weeks the public participation around the budget. So people are actually bringing their views and saying, this is not going to work. And I love the representation that is there. But now it's in the hands of those who are in the leaders. And no matter what, please, Jeff, has there been a year that you've had there's been no inflation in this country?
No.
In fact, it has been even worse in our lifetimes,
Yep.
at least that you can be able to remember.
Yep.
Where we've had, I think it was in the 1990s, inflation hit up about 43%. So you're going from 1 year when bread is 7 shillings. I think that was 92. 93, it was 15 shillings. So you can see more than double in that period of time. So this will always happen. So at Centonomy, we are focused on helping the individual to manage their money. Because we can speak here and we speak and ask the president and ask all the leaders, please help us and do various things. But at some point, it's about me. And here's an example. People often think that maybe if I'm a low-income earner, I don't overspend on certain things. Can I give you a quick example?
Go on.
So we have a wonderful house help. She's an amazing lady. We do our best to pay her above minimum wage. And I think we're doing well in that way. But we noticed something. Every time we call her, there's a new song playing for us on her phone. So you can imagine at that income level, if she's paying for new songs on her phone every time that we pick it up, we calculated she was paying over 10 shillings per day on her phone. And she wasn't aware of that number.
Wow.
And look, I love to express myself and I love the entertainment industry, so I'm not trying to stop that. I'm just saying she wasn't aware. And so for all of us, if we're going to find success around our finances, we have to start with awareness. We have to.
Yeah.
So that's at that level.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I like that.
I mean, if we're not aware, for me, I always share this example. When I became aware of our spending, this is the one I'm allowed to share by my sweetheart, my wife. And
she's watching it.
She's watching, so that I can be able to say this. We discovered, this is now about 12 years ago, that we were spending more on takeout food than our rent. Middle class Kenyans, can we talk to them? We were spending more on takeout food than our rent because it was 200 shillings there, 200 shillings there. And I thought it was a middle class problem until a couple of days ago we were training the vendors for one of the, how would I say, they provide, what are they called, FMCGs. So they're on the street. I don't want to name the company. But we're dealing with vendors on the street.
Right.
And we were asking them, so what do you spend on the day? And they said, in the morning, I usually get a cup of tea. And that cup of tea is how much?
30 bob.
30 bob. Then, at about 10, we get some fruit. How much is the fruit?
50 bob.
50 bob. At lunch, you see? She's helping me already.
Your Buddha knows.
Good. At lunchtime, you buy lunch. How much is that lunch?
Average.
Lunch.
Yes, lunch.
Chapona.
Chapona, 70.
70, okay.
At 4 o'clock, uji. By the end of it, we were seeing most of them were spending about 250 shillings on food.
A day?
At their workplace.
A day?
A day. Wow. But they were not aware of it because they were not writing it down.
That's more than 1,000 a week. Wow.
So if we cannot take responsibility for our own money, we can complain all we want to the government, we'll never get out of it. Because Jeff, I train also senior executives. We are called in by all these big companies and saying, hey, this is a senior executive earning 6, 7 figures and they're still in debt. Why? Because they can't manage their money. The government has to collect tax. I think we all agree on that fact. And I think where there's an issue in this scenario is maybe a bit of the education, the civic education that we're looking at. Yes. And I think that will come. The idea around the withholding tax is that they're trying to collect in advance, so that it's a cash flow issue, the advance, and then you can be able to claim on it later. And so whether this now falls into that I think there's a bit more clarity that needs to come in there. But Jeff, if you don't mind for a second, I think maybe I left a point hanging.
Go on.
I didn't mean that we should not eat lunch, drink tea, and have uji at the office. I think that's important. I think that's important. But I was thinking, for that same 250 bob that we were discussing earlier, if you bought the unga yourself and cooked uji, and had some tea at home and carried it, maybe you invest in a small thermos that you can carry and carry to the office, there would be some savings in that respect. And often, come on, we're Africans. At whatever level, you don't cook just enough. There's usually a little bit left. If you can be able to carry something to the office, that's what I meant, if you don't mind. But you wanted to add to that?
I think maybe you can help me in this, because now I've tried both formulas. I used to feel like I was spending so much when buying food, takeout food, because actually I used to have a joint that you'll see, it appeared like it's my house, because they used to know my time. So now, wet fry beef was my favorite. It was going at 250 shillings. So I buy wet fry beef, comes with small kamanagu and ugali. Imepangwa tu vizuri, wamepanga kazi. Na nisukume avocado ya 10. So now I want to explain how I can eat the same meal with 250, given that now I have to buy meat, unga, kamanagu, mafuta. So
na gas pia usisahau.
Na gas and time.
And time.
So where do we draw the line of saving when you're cooking at home versus takeout? Or is there a takeout that now makes sense? Because I'm sure when you are spending so much on takeout, maybe your lunch was 1,000 shillings.
No. It was exactly that 250 that you're saying. This was for a household.
Because now...
So that's me and my wife, just so that you understand. So she's buying at her office, and I'm buying. So that's how much?
5.
So for me...
Times 5, because it's Monday to Friday.
2.5.
So me,
okay, now then I have to admit, on Saturday now you go somewhere. So we all go somewhere.
Because for me, I felt like this formula applies to families only. Because when you, it's cheaper to cook a lot of food than to cook food for one person.
Correct.
That's what I felt, because she said at lunch we'll use 70 bob to eat chapati mbili and maragwe.
What I want us to understand is tax is a fact of life.
Absolutely, and we're not disputing that. But only 3 million of us pay taxes.
And we have given our views. If it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. What we have to do is to become creative. And that's what we were saying before the break. And Eddie was asking, I can't cook. And it's so expensive and it takes time and everything. And he was saying it works for a family. Eddie, how many guys do you work with at the office?
At the office?
Plus minus.
Okay. On a normal day, the ones that are present at the office are 12. But there are ones that...
Is that not a family?
So
that's a family.
Someone should cook for 12 people.
Yes.
My supper. They should.
They cook for you there, and you carry home.
But you said something when we were on a break that you have, maybe I should focus on me.
No, I'm saying what I'm trying to say is is you are a family. So if you said. Like what we did, we found a guy, we were talking about employment. We found a chef. There are many chefs there on the street who are looking for work. Hire that guy to cook for you guys. Yeah,
because for the office, I can agree. We used to buy lunch, and it was very expensive for that.
Don't buy lunch.
But for individual supper now.
That's what I'm saying. As a team, say we are now a family. All of us need to eat.
Yes.
If we hire this one guy and we purchase the food that he's going to cook, we agree on what the menu is, everyone agrees, you will reduce your cost. What I'm trying to say is, if we sit back and say the problem is outside, Serikali nisaidie, governor nisaidie, my family, I didn't go to the right school. If we stay at that level, we never move forward.
Yes.
And so, Thank you to everyone who's giving their positions on this thing. But once it passes, what are we going to do? And that's what I'm here to challenge. Because we can talk all we want about these taxes. We can talk all about the economy. We can talk all about this. But I was shocked. Let me talk to the boda team, if I may, because one of my cousins is a boda rider. And I was asking him, during the day when you're sitting there, what are you doing? And at that time, he was just like, see, we're waiting for customers. And I said, that's an amazing job for him. I don't know what it's like for the others. Because if I sat at the office and waited for the customers to come to me, I would never get anything. I'm sitting here, Jeff, in the middle of the night. Why? Because I'm looking for customers. I need the brand to go out there. I need to be able to get the message out so that there is growth.
But
So even
Jeff,
for my cousin, I challenged him. When you're sitting there, are there businesses in your corner who are looking to get some work done? Have you gone and asked?
Like biker services?
Exactly. There's a sense in which we are waiting for everyone else to help. And I was challenging my cousin. I told you it may be different for others. But I was telling him, don't wait. Go and look for that one.
You taxed, you pay through your nose, and you don't get the services.
Yeah. Let's say this. And I know I'm not here to be the advocate for the government. Let me say this. I'm also a citizen and I receive the services just like them. And as you said, if the roads are not working, if there is poor service at whatever level, if you're paying 200 shillings at the tank, you are in trouble. Business is difficult, and that's true. But imagine that healthcare actually happens. Even that one doctor is there or the two. Hopefully we'll get more of them. And I love that attitude of saying, can you please make sure that the money is being managed well? And it's a problem at all levels. So now I feel like, I hope people don't feel like I was attacking you about your money. I was just trying to challenge us because all of us are struggling. And if we get it, it helps at every level. So if I can manage my home, then I can manage my business. If I can manage my business, then there'll be pressure to manage even within the government. And that's what we're trying to do as a nation.